Hey girls, so I'm going to do a quick little TTC update before I do the love story tag. So today is cycle day 2. I got AF yesterday. We were out at a big event for my husband. He had his recognition ceremony. I told you in a video a while ago that he got promoted. He's a sergeant now for the police department that he works for, and they do recognition ceremonies like twice a year, and yesterday was the one that was closest to when he got promoted. So we went up there yesterday. Big deal, you know, I'm wearing this nice dress, and all day I'm having these horrible, like, ache and cramp down there, and, you know, like, I thought AF was still a few days away, but apparently I was wrong. So, yep, got up, went to the bathroom, and had AF all day during this, you know, big ceremony thing. I'm wearing this nice dress, and, you know, it's just not comfortable when you're feeling cramps and everything, and you're out all dressed up, and you can't be home in your sweats, like, relaxing. But it was a really nice day. I got to spend the whole day with my husband. I was so proud of him. You know, he's looking all handsome in his uniform, and, you know, but I just had to laugh a little bit because my husband is not a serious guy at home, but, you know, he's obviously was being professional and serious, you know, in this environment. He had to, like, salute the colonel when they gave him his, you know, award, to give him a certificate and everything. And I just started giggling a little bit to myself, which I know is silly, but I just, like, he's just not serious. And when I see him acting like that, it's just funny to me. But anyways, it was a really good day, and came home and watched World War Z, which if you guys haven't seen that movie and you like zombies, check it out. It's a great movie. Like, I love zombies. I'm a huge fan of the Walking Dead show. So, yeah, love the movie. But yeah, that was our day, and that's been what's going on. And I'm going to do the Clomid. I've decided days 3 through 7, so I'll start it tomorrow because today's cycle day 2. And same dose, everything. I'm feeling pretty relaxed this cycle. I haven't bought any more OPKs. I'm not going to do the red raspberry leaves. I'm not going to do the progesterone cream. I am just going to relax. I've been praying so much about this, and I just feel like God is, you know, just telling me it's going to be okay no matter what. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this cycle is going to work or not. I don't have a feeling if this is going to work or not work. I kind of feel like we're going to end up doing the injectables, but anyways, I'm just going to take it easy on myself. So let's get started with the love story tag. I saw this first on Alicia AMS, and she started the whole tag, and then I've also seen Jenny Wagner do this, and Corey from C&J Times Like These, so check them out and check their love story tags out. They're really cute. And before I get started, I forgot, big shout out to you, Jenny Wagner. Congratulations on your BFP. That is amazing. I'm so happy for you guys, and you guys deserve this. You've been waiting for it for a long time, and I wish you nothing but a happy and healthy pregnancy. So I cannot wait to watch your pregnancy vlogs. Okay, here we go. How did you meet? So my husband and I actually lived in the same neighborhood, but I didn't think, you know, too much of him at first because I was in a relationship, a long-term relationship. I'd been with this person for like 10 years. So we started dating when we were 16 years old. So I wasn't looking for anything, you know, like, knew of him, like just the usual, like, neighborly wave, like, hey, how's it going kind of thing, but no conversations, like nothing. So I didn't really have anything to go off of a first impression. I thought he was a nice guy, but that was it. I wasn't, like, super interested or anything. First impressions. So, you know, like I said, I didn't really know him very well. Thought he was a nice guy, kind of cute, but, you know, wasn't looking for anything. Well, the relationship that I was in, you know, that 10-year relationship, was not a healthy one, and it obviously didn't work out because I'm married to my husband now. And, you know, I went through a pretty bad breakup, ended up moving out of that neighborhood, but my brother still lived there, which I think I mentioned that in another video. So I would go and visit my brother and take walks with my sister-in-law, and they live on the same street that he does. So I would see him outside, and we would, you know, wave, and, you know, he'd be like, how's it going, you know, how are you, because he obviously heard, you know, that we had broken up, and that little chit-chat kind of continued as I saw him outside, and then we started talking longer and longer, And I was like, this guy's pretty nice, you know, like, but I still was not ready to get into anything. You know, I was very emotionally guarded from what happened, and, yeah, I just, you know, thought nice guy, but didn't think it was going to go anywhere, didn't think we were going to date, like, nothing like that. So, sorry, I got distracted for a second. So we ended up talking more and more and more, exchanged numbers, and then at that point, we talked for like 6 months via text and like on the phone and everything. And never went on a date in that entire 6 months, like just talked. Like I really got to know him, such a super nice guy, and I started to let my walls down a little bit. I was like, maybe I could date this guy, you know, this, you know, could be a good guy to help get me over my other relationship. Like I thought for sure he was going to be, you know, the rebound guy, the guy who gets you back into the dating game. And obviously I was wrong because we ended up getting married. Describe your first date. So we were talking for, you know, like I said, like 6 months, and then we decided to finally go on a date, or he finally convinced me to go on a date. So he took me to this nice seafood restaurant, and since we've been talking for so long on the phone and everything, we didn't have any awkward first date moments. Like it was just like we were just picking up where we left off. Like we had always been together. And it was just easy. It was nice, you know, we had a nice little kiss at the end of the date, but, you know, I didn't leave the date thinking, oh my gosh, he is the one, you know. I was like, nice guy, you know, really cute, and, you know, he's going to get me over this little hump that I'm going through right now. And so, yeah, that was our first date. No major, huge sparks flying there. Who said I love you first? I did, which I still am not happy with my husband about. So we had been together a long time before anybody said I love you, or until I said I love you. Like I said, super bad relationship before. I was not ready to let anybody else in, nor was I ready to admit to myself that this was the guy. You know, like I said, I thought he was just going to get me over my previous relationship. You know, I thought I was going to date for a while, and I did date probably 2 or 3 other guys, like nothing serious, just a few dates here and there, before my husband and I decided to be, you know, exclusive and just date each other. So, yeah, I just was in super huge denial that I was in love with him. You know, it would pop into my head and I'd be like, stop it, you know what I mean? Like, you do not feel this way about this guy. And the feelings just kept growing stronger and stronger and stronger, and I could not ignore it anymore. So we went to the Bahamas. It was the first time we had went there, and we were there with his family, and it was just really nice. And you know, we were taking these nice long walks on the beach, and I knew I was in love with him, and I just wanted to shout it out and be like, I love you, you know, but I couldn't. It would not come out of my mouth. I don't know what was wrong with me. I could not say it. I was so afraid of being rejected. After everything I went through, I was afraid I was going to tell him I loved him, and he was going to look at me and be like, oh, I really like you too. Thanks, that's really nice. You know, I was terrified. So we get home from this trip. We're unpacking. We're at his place. And, you know, we were just kind of laying down, cuddling, and whatever, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just blurted out, I love you. Like, not romantic, nothing like that. And he just rolled over and gave me the biggest hug and a kiss, and he was like, I love you too, and, you know, I've loved you for a long time. I was just too afraid to say anything, and I was so, like, I was just like, why didn't you say something? Like, he knew how afraid I was. He knew, like, how guarded I was to get into another relationship. And, like, I was just waiting for him to tell me, to have that security that I could just tell him back and feel comfortable in that moment. But anyways, it was a really nice moment, and, you know, it doesn't really matter in the end who said it first. But I still kind of hold a little bit of a grudge against him for making me do it first, but he said he was afraid to scare me away, so I guess I'll let that one slide. Tell us about an embarrassing moment. I have a big embarrassing moment. So I had to have surgery this past February. We were obviously married. We got married in May. And yeah, so I couldn't go to the bathroom after surgery. I'm not really going to get into all this. I was in a lot of pain, taking pain medicine, for my surgery, and I was very dizzy, and I had to end up giving myself an enema to go to the bathroom. Gross, right? So I was so dizzy, and my stomach was cramping so bad. My husband had to stand in the bathroom with me while I did this. So yeah, super embarrassing for me. Like, now we laugh about it. We think it's hilarious. But, because not a lot of husbands would do that. They would just, like, yell from the door, like, "Are you all right?" But he stayed there with me and, like, held me up so I wouldn't fall over. But yeah, so embarrassing. Don't want to relive that ever again for the rest of my life. When did you know they were the one? So I feel like I knew pretty early on that he was the one, probably after 3 or 4 months of dating. But like I said, I did not want to admit it to myself. I kept pushing it out of my head, like, no way is this guy the one. I'm not ready for this yet. I'm not ready, to get married or anything like that. So I just kept pushing those feelings away and pushing those feelings away. But after we got back from that trip and I finally let my walls down and I told him that I loved him and he told me he loved me too, I was toast after that. Like, that was it. Like, he was just the one for me. Like, I literally, did not have any second thoughts about it from that point on. And we dated for about another year. We went back to the Bahamas again with his family, and on that trip, he ended up proposing on the very first night there. So, which I felt super bad for, because, you had a long day traveling, you're crabby. Like, he laid down and took this hour-long nap, and I was awake, so I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just go to sleep. So I took a shower, laid down in the bed, up pops Greg from his nap, and he's like, let's go for a walk. And I was like, no, I'm not going for a walk. I'm tired. I want to take a nap. You were napping for an hour. I was just being a total crab butt. And we ended up going for a walk, but I was like, oh, I don't want to go all the way down on the beach. Like, let's just sit in these chairs. So I was totally ruining everything for him. Like, he was planning on taking me down on the beach and, like, getting down on one knee, but I was being a brat, and I ruined everything, and I feel so bad about it to this day. So we sat down in these chairs, and, he started talking to me, and he was being unusually romantic and sweet and telling me how he was going to, love me forever and all, et cetera, all this stuff. And I knew something was way up. And then, he reaches in his pocket and pulls the ring out, and I was so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, he's proposing. I totally ruined this whole thing. He had this whole thing planned. He wanted to go for this walk. All this stuff was running through my head. And obviously I said yes right away. It was very sweet. He forgot to actually ask me to marry him. He just put the ring on, and I was like, yes. And then 2 seconds later, I was like, wait a second, you didn't actually ask me. He's like, oh, I was just so nervous, I forgot. So then he, said, will you marry me? And I said yes again, and gave him a big kiss. And then we ran and told the whole family, because his family was there. So that was a really nice, very special moment for us. Okay, next question. Long or short engagement? We had a pretty average engagement, I think. We got married, got engaged in May on our second Bahamas trip together, and then we got married the following May in the Bahamas again. So, yeah, just a year engagement. I think it's pretty average for most people. Where did you get married? And was your wedding big or small? So we got married in the Bahamas. Obviously, I've showed you guys the pictures before. And our wedding was pretty small. We had 26 people there just because it was a destination wedding, and we didn't invite that many people, just close, immediate family and friends, and some of the people that his parents were friends with, because they've been going to the same timeshare for years. They've known people for 20 and 30 years down there. So they came to our wedding too, and it was really nice. Pretty relaxing day. I actually laid out on the beach till 3 o'clock in the afternoon on our wedding day, and then I went and got showered and got dressed for our wedding, and it started pouring rain at that point in time, and our beautiful beach ceremony that was all set up was drenched, and the flowers were ruined, and they had to move everything under a pavilion. But I don't know how the florist saved everything, but it ended up being very, very beautiful. Okay, next question. Do you have nicknames for each other? Yes, we do. I have 10,000 nicknames for my husband. He usually just calls me like babe or honey or dear, all the basic things, but he has had many, many weird nicknames, and the one that has stuck probably the last 6 months or so is Honey Bear. I call him Honey Bear constantly, all day, every day, every time I'm talking to him, I call him Honey Bear, which I'm sure he's probably not happy about, but I think it's funny and cute. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but sometimes I watch that Honey Boo Boo show that's on TLC because the family is hilarious, and I just can't help it. It's like a train wreck. You can't look away. And, so I think the dad's name is Sugar Bear or something on that show, and I don't know why, but I started calling him Honey Bear one day, and that has just stuck. What makes your love last? I'd have to say our love lasts because we, for the most part, get along really well. Like, we rarely ever fight. The only time we've really argued is with some of this TTC stuff. We just communicate really well. We make sure we tell each we tell each other that we love each other every day, every time we hang up the phone, every time one of us leaves the house. We never leave the house angry or go to bed angry. We mostly started doing that just because what my husband does for a living and everything, and I know with any job or anything could happen when your significant other leaves the house, but we just always make sure before he leaves that, we tell each other we love each other and give each other a big hug. Also, we're very silly together. Like, we're always running around the house, like, doing silly dance moves and, like, making up stupid songs and, like, singing to the radio, like, just being goofballs together. And I think that really helps, like, keeping your inner child alive and, like, playing around with each other, not being super serious 24 hours a day. I think that really, really can make a relationship last. So yeah, I think that's it for what the major things that keep us together. And that's it. That was the last question. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tag, and I will keep you guys updated with my cycle as far as everything goes along. I hope I still ovulate doing it 3 through 7. I'm sure I probably will, but I don't know what days or anything like that. So I might do another fun little tag video here in the meantime, just to kind of lighten things up and not do so much serious TTC stuff all the time. So I will talk to you guys later, and good luck to all you guys in your next cycles. Bye, ladies.